exploring women's experience of living with endometriosis, development of a questionnaire to measure impact of endometriosis on women's lives. Endometriosis is a chronic condition that could impact many aspects of women's life. For many patients, quality of life is affected by pain, subfertility, and emotional impact of endometriosis. Recent review studies on endometriosis impact recommended additional perspective and research in more diverse population and settings. From the other hand, existing questionnaire on impact of endometriosis and quality of life consider a time frame of only last 4 weeks. Considering chronic and recurring nature of endometriosis, many aspects of endometriosis could be missed by looking only at last 4 weeks. So developing a questionnaire with a long-term view is necessary. We conducted a study with 2 objectives. In phase 1, we aim to explore women's experience of living with endometriosis in phase 1, and in phase 2, we aim to develop and validate a target questionnaire to measure these impacts. Phase 1 was a qualitative study. We conducted group discussion with women with endometriosis. The group discussion were voice recorded, transcribed, and analyzed. We considered 3 age groups: 16 to 24, 25 to 34, 35 and above years old. 10 focus group discussions were conducted with a sample of 35 women with endometriosis. 23 were recruited from the Canberra Endometriosis Center at Canberra Hospital, and 12 recruited from the community. Each discussion took about 2 hours. Most of participants were Australian born. Participants' age ranged from 17 to 53. 2 main themes and 14 categories emerged from the data: experience of living with endometriosis and impact of endometriosis on women's lives. This table shows new findings from our study. The most highlighted impacts were on marital sexual relationship, social life, physical and psychological impact in all 3 age groups, but with different orders of priority. However, some differences in the next most highlighted impact were noted, with education for 16 to 24 years, life opportunities and employment for 25 to 34 years, and financial impact for 35 and above. The most commonly experienced symptoms were pain, painful sex, heavy or irregular bleeding, fatigue, and infertility. This participant said, I had very, very painful periods from a young age, but when you go to the doctors, they just say, well, unfortunately, you've just got the short straw, so you are suffering from bad periods, just live with it. So it's quite debilitating because you spend a lot of time in bed in pain, hot water bottles, and painkillers. Delayed diagnosis was one of the main categories from our data, and this poster is presented from our study, and which have been awarded as a best poster in a national congress. Delay between the start of symptoms until diagnosis ranged from 3 months to 24 years. The women reported that they normalized their severe pain or other symptoms. They were thinking that it's a part of womanhood, and they didn't talk to others because of shame. The family and friends told them that the pain and bleeding were normal, and they didn't believe them. The majority of teenagers reported that the physicians did not take their symptoms seriously, didn't believe them, and thought that they were only making up stories just to get attention. Women reported both negative and positive experiences with health professionals, but negative experiences were most highlighted and were related to health professionals who did not want to listen to their concern, had no time to answer their question, and normalize their symptoms. Most women reported that endometriosis had significant impacts on their life as they lived through it every day of their lives. The physical impact was associated with symptoms and treatment side effects. Prior to having endometriosis, I used to run every day and was very active. for the last 6 months, while I waited for surgery, my level of exercise was severely reduced. I gained weight and felt dissatisfied with my body. It's also impacted on my self-confidence. I began wearing more baggy clothes, also watched more TV, and had general feeling of being lethargic and spaced out. Psychological impact was broad. Most women experienced feeling upset, angry, depressed, uncertain, and some women experienced disappointment and frustration. Women discussed their concern and their regrets. Most teenagers highlighted their future fertility as their main concern. Delayed diagnosis was found to be the main reason for regret among all age groups. These participants said, "So the negative effects can be quite huge, and I even felt depressed with myself. I feel angry with myself, and I don't want to deal with it anymore." Reduction in social activity and missed events were reported because of severe pain and fatigue. Some women mentioned negative impact on their relationship with family and friends. Some women, especially teenagers, mentioned others who didn't know or understand endometriosis might think that they are faking up, and in some cases led to losing their friendship. Just because it's stressful and you're angry, and I guess that's the point where it can affect your relationship with people more seriously. Negative impact on their sexual relationship were reported by most women who were married or had partners. Decrease in frequency of intercourse, avoiding having sex for fear of pain or bleeding, and fatigue to have, and failure to have orgasm caused frustration and put a strain on their relationship, and some experienced relationship breakdown. Infertility was a concern and the treat for breaking up a relationship. About half of women reported that they did not have a supportive or understanding partner. I have had dyspareunia my entire life. I mean, it affects my relationship. I've never had one that lasted longer than 6 months because, guys, especially when didn't know what it was, no one wants to go near that. Education was the main issue for teenager, group 1. 2/3 of women reported taking time off school, being less productive in schoolwork. Some had to study part-time and defer university, and one teenager actually left school because of her disease. Having endometriosis led some women to take time off work, choose part-time work, made them less productive, while some had to give up their favorite job or lost the chance of promotion. This participant said, "Yes, if I was more certain that I won't be sick, I would become a full-time teacher that does a lot more preparation and a lot less flexibility. But I don't get paid as much as I would if I was a full-time classroom teacher." In addition, there was financial impact due to treatment costs and decrease in income. They said it's really expensive to have endometriosis. Some women reported negative impact on their lifestyle, like taking more analgesia, consuming more alcohol, and smoking more cigarettes, but a number of women believe that there had been some positive impact of endometriosis. This figure is from phase 2 of our study, where 423 women with endometriosis reported positive impact of endometriosis, and out of these, some participants, 58% reported that they learned lessons because of living with endometriosis, for example, to be strong, determined. And 39% reported that they choose healthier eating habit, and 22% said improvement in relationship with partner, for example, receiving more support and understanding, and some reported more exercise and less alcohol consumption. There were some women who had positive view about living with endometriosis. They had accepted their condition and have been trying to manage their disease and control their life. It's been an interesting journey with endometriosis. Initially, it controlled me now, and I went through different stages, but now I feel like I'm in more control. I've accepted that it is long-term. Then it seemed to turn around for me. I still have days where it takes over and controls my day, but I try not to let it control my life. These are a list of helpful actions that women reported to decrease negative impact of endometriosis. Many women reported that they've not heard about endometriosis before their diagnosis, and they believe that there are lack of information among themselves, their family, friends, at school and at workplace. Increasing awareness and understanding in society, more information for patients, increasing GPs' knowledge and understanding, need for more support like support groups, networks, and understanding and accepting without criticizing were suggested by these women. Most women wish that society would give more importance to endometriosis and take it seriously as other chronic disease. In phase 2, first, we developed question of the endometriosis based on the themes and categories that emerged from phase 1 study, the group discussion that I've just talked about, along with review of literature, and then we tested validity and reliability of the questionnaire. This questionnaire called Endometriosis Impact Questionnaire, or EIQ. This is the EIQ that we developed. First draft had 100 questions. Through extensive validity and reliability assessment, test-retest reliability, factor analysis, the EIQ have changed and shortened to 63 questions. We conducted online survey to test the EIQ. It was anonymous survey. Some of you might complete the online questionnaire, the test-retest, or pilot test. Thank you so much. The result indicated that the EIQ had good validity and test-retest reliability. The online EIQ is still open, and we encourage women with endometriosis to complete it if they have not done yet. To recruit enough participants, we were advertising the study link on Facebook, on websites, and also we had flyers. A total of 484 responders completed EIQ by February this year, and currently we have close to 700, and further analysis would be done. A database of 423 women with surgery diagnosis of endometriosis analyzed using SPSS. 74% were born in Australia, 99% spoke English at home, 38% had history of delayed fertility. First endometriosis-related symptom was at mean age of 16.4. First, they saw a doctor at mean age of 19.7, and diagnosis was made at mean age of 24.7. So there was 8 years delayed diagnosis. Finally, the EIQ with 63 questions were categorized into 6 dimensions: physical, psychosocial, fertility, sexual, employment, educational, and lifestyle. Based on preliminary analysis on the EIQ scoring, highest impact of endometriosis has been on fertility, followed by physical psychosocial dimension. Lowest impact of endometriosis has been on lifestyle dimension. In conclusion, in phase 1, we explored impact of endometriosis on women's lives, highlighting the similarities and differences between different age groups of women. This finding could help to decrease impact of endometriosis by guiding service delivery and future research. Second, in phase 2, we successfully developed and validated a new questionnaire, EIQ, that could be used as a valid and reliable tool by researcher and clinician to measure impact of endometriosis on women's lives over time. We hope the EIQ will provide a better understanding of the impact of endometriosis to better meet the needs of women with this condition. I would like to thank all my supervisors for their help and support over past 4 years. This study has been presented in 7 national and 3 international congresses. The last one was Endometriosis World Congress in May in Brazil, and we have just been accepted for publication in a peer-reviewed medical journal. I would like to thank all the women and teenagers who contributed to this study. Some of you are here tonight. Thank you very much. This study was not possible without your help. Thank you for your attention.